They tricked the poor waiter with a paralyzed woman on a blind date. He didn't know she was the CEO. Ethan Cole still remembers the sound, an almost accidental gasp that sliced through the dim hush of Aubrey's steakhouse. A woman's voice, soft but tremoring, like a violin string stretched too tight. It came from the private booth in the corner, the same booth where he would later find the truth that would change everything. It was the night he carried the stranger in his arms, her body weightless, her eyes shimmering with both apology and something else he couldn't name. The night when someone whispered behind him, "He doesn't know who she really is." The night that would turn a humble waiter into the accidental guardian of a secret worth millions of dollars, and immeasurable dignity. But before we unravel how a paralyzed woman ended up on a staged blind date meant to humiliate him, and how that helpless stranger turned out to be the CEO who owned the entire building. High voltage, like this video and subscribe to the Kindness Chronicles so you don't miss how this twist unfolds. High voltage. Before all of that, we have to start with the moment Ethan saw something the others didn't. Something hidden beneath that fragile silence. A moment so out of place it would rattle him awake later at night, long after the truth detonated in front of him. When he stepped to the booth, tray balanced, smile practiced, he found the woman staring straight ahead, even though she was supposed to be fully paralyzed. And in the faint reflection of the polished wine bottle he carried, she blinked. A stranger in the corner booth. Ethan Cole had worked at Aubrey's Steakhouse in downtown Denver for nearly 3 years. He was the kind of man customers forgot to look at but always remembered to appreciate, gentle, dependable, steady as a heartbeat. With sandy hair, tired hazel eyes, and a quiet grace that came from raising his younger sister alone since their parents died, Ethan lived paycheck to paycheck but carried himself with a dignity money couldn't buy. That night, the steakhouse floor hummed with its usual symphony, clinking silver, soft jazz, the low chatter of Colorado's polished business elite. Ethan navigated the aisles like a shadow with purpose, though his mind was on the envelope in his back pocket, the overdue rent notice. 8 days. That was all he had left. He paused when his manager, Peter Morrison, waved him over. Peter was tall, square-jawed, and fond of using his authority like a pruning shears, cutting people for sport. "Cole," Peter muttered, adjusting his tie. "Booth 12 needs special service tonight. VIP guest." Ethan followed his gaze. In booth 12 sat a woman in a wheelchair, positioned awkwardly beside the booth's curved leather seat. She was young, late 20s or early 30s, wearing a navy dress with long sleeves that fell elegantly though her hands lay motionless in her lap. Auburn hair cascaded over her shoulders, framing a face too composed for her age, too serene in a sea of tension. Across from her sat 2 sharply dressed men, leaning close and whispering with smirks. Ethan's stomach tightened. He knew those smirks. He'd seen them used on waitresses, other customers, predators peacocking. "Be extra attentive," Peter said. "And try not to embarrass the restaurant like you usually do." Ethan simply nodded. As he approached the table with their drinks, the whispering paused. Both men looked up. The woman did not move, not even her eyes. "Good evening," Ethan said gently. "Your drinks." He set them down with careful precision. The men exchanged glances, amused. One of them, tall, blonde, self-assured to the point of cruelty, leaned back and stretched his arm across the booth. His name, Ethan would soon learn, was Landon Price. "Buddy," Landon said, "be careful with her glass. She's a little fragile." The other man snickered. Ethan ignored them and turned to the woman. "Ma'am, would you like a straw?" Her lips parted slightly, but no sound came. Landon answered for her. "She's paralyzed," he said in a performative whisper. "She literally can't speak. Or move. Total vegetable." Ethan's jaw tensed. Something in the way he said "vegetable" made the air colder. But the woman's eyes, those startling green eyes, flickered. A spark, subtle but present. Ethan saw it. He crouched slightly to meet her gaze. "If there's anything you need," he said, voice softened, "look at me, and I'll do my best to help." For a split second, he saw gratitude flicker through her expression. Not movement. Expression. But that was impossible, right? Landon rolled his eyes. "She can't look at you on purpose, man." The woman blinked. A deliberate, precise blink. Ethan straightened. "I'll check back soon." As he walked away, the two men burst into quiet laughter. "Wait till the punchline," he heard one of them snicker. "This is gonna be gold." Ethan tried to ignore it. But Booth 12 tugged at him like a loose wire behind a wall, buzzing with danger. 30 minutes later, when he returned with their entrees, the tension had thickened. The men were leaning so close to the woman that Ethan felt his chest tighten. Landon was showing her something on his phone. "So what do you think?" he asked mockingly. "Perfect match, right?" Ethan placed the plates down. "Can I help with anything else?" "Yeah," Landon said with a grin. "We're actually on a blind date." Ethan blinked. "Sorry, what?" Landon gestured dramatically. "Me and her. Our buddies set us up. Didn't tell me she came with, upgrades." He pointed at the wheelchair. The woman's eyelashes trembled. The other man slapped the table, laughing. "Tell him the best part." Landon leaned forward and whispered loudly, "Her family's broke. Can't afford a proper care home. We're doing this as a joke." Ethan's stomach curdled. He turned to the woman. "Are you okay?" For the first time, her eyes shifted, barely perceptible, but there. She looked at him, directly at him, for half a second before her gaze snapped straight ahead again. Ethan inhaled sharply. She was not paralyzed. Or if she was, not fully. Something here was wrong on a level deeper than humiliation. When Ethan walked away again, he caught another whisper. "Wait till he finds out who she is." Later that evening, after the dessert order was placed, Ethan returned to booth 12 and found the woman alone. Her wheelchair was angled toward the hallway. The two men were gone. Her chest rose with shallow breaths, panic stitched into her posture despite the stillness of her body. "Ma'am," Ethan whispered, "are you safe?" Her eyes darted left, once. He knelt. "Can you move at all?" Her lips parted. A faint sound escaped. Barely a ghost of a voice. "Help." Ethan's heart crashed. "Where did they go?" he asked. But he knew. He knew. The side exit. The alley. Something planned. Something cruel. He didn't think, his legs moved before his mind caught up. He sprinted out the side door into the cold Denver night. There the two men stood, laughing under the flicker of a broken streetlight. And that's when he heard what made his blood freeze. "Well," Landon chuckled, "at midnight she officially becomes our responsibility." "CEO of a multi-million-dollar corporation," the other sneered. "And she doesn't even know what's coming." "CEO? The woman in the wheelchair?" Ethan stepped closer, fists clenched. "What are you doing to her?" Both men turned. Landon smirked. "Oh look, the waiter found his courage." "What does she have to do with you?" Ethan asked. "Everything," Landon said. "Her company is firing our father tomorrow morning. We figured we'd loosen her up a bit." "You staged a blind date to humiliate her?" Ethan asked, voice cracking with anger. "Humiliate?" Landon laughed. "Buddy, she can't even feel it." Ethan grabbed him by the collar. "You're done. I'm calling the police." "Oh?" Landon smirked. "And what's your evidence?" A voice behind them carried through the alley, quiet but sharp. "Me." All three men turned. The woman sat in her wheelchair in the doorway,